Welcome back to the best tech of the month, this time for October 2025. Alright, let's kick it off with a banger. This tiny little gadget called the Llano S850, which goes for about $63. It basically lets you mirror your phone's screen onto any display. Here's how it works. It actually splits into two pieces. One plugs right into your TV or monitor through HDMI, and the other connects to your phone or a laptop using USB-C. Once it's all hooked up, a little white light turns on to show that it's connected, and boom, your phone screen instantly shows up on the big screen. From there you can watch YouTube, scroll TikTok, or do whatever you want in full 1080p with sound. It even works with computers too, letting you hook up your Windows or Mac to the big screen. Plus, you technically don't even need to connect the transmitter to your devices, since the receiver also lets you cast your screen wirelessly too. Now, sure, most TVs already let you do this by default, but I found it to be really handy when you're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb that has one of those lockdown TVs with nothing to watch. Alright, next, check this out. Underneath my monitor, I've got this little sliding dock that I can pull out, and it lets me snap my phone right onto it so I can charge it, and I can also bring up standby mode to see the time, date, and weather, all while I'm working too. I can even rotate my phone too if I want, although depending on your monitor and phone, it could get cut off a bit. Now, this genius invention is called the MagSlide, and it basically lets you attach a MagSafe charger for that magnetic snap-on connection. In my case, I used Google's Pixel Snap charger, but you can still use Apple's too. Unfortunately, the exact one I'm using is 3D printed, and you'll need to 3D print it yourself. I'll leave a link below to the files, but don't worry, if you don't have a 3D printer, I have a couple of alternatives. I found a similar one on Etsy for around 10 bucks, although it doesn't seem to hide the charger like the MagSlide does. Or I found this more premium version on Amazon for about 13 bucks, but it doesn't really charge your phone, it just lets you mount it. That one's made out of aluminum though, and it really lets you firmly attach your phone to your monitor or your laptop. Plus, it swivels in a bunch of different directions too, so you can get the perfect angle, and you can even hide it underneath your monitor. Plus, if you want, you can even mount it to the side of your monitor too. And hey, those first two gadgets are just a little preview of what's coming up in this episode of the Top Tech. Just like I do with the best Android apps of the month, I've started doing a best tech of the month too, packed with cool and genuinely useful gadgets you'll actually want to buy. You guys have been showing a ton of love to this series and I really appreciate it. That's honestly why I kept it going, and this is already the third episode too. But seriously, please keep letting me know if you want more. The more thumbs up and comments that I see, the more motivated I get to keep making these. Cause yeah, grabbing all this tech every month definitely isn't cheap. But I love putting it together since I know it helps some of you find cool and useful stuff. And of course, stick around to the end because the last gadget on the list is, easily the best one. Anyways, let's jump back in. If you started to build up a collection of tech, multiple phones, tablets, earbuds, maybe even a smartwatch or two, especially if you've got a big family, this one's for you. It's called the Unitek Charging Station, and it goes for around $120. This thing lets you dock around 12 devices and charge up to around 10 at once with adjustable dividers to keep everything nice and tidy. There are even some special dividers too that let you mount your headphones or even your smartwatch too. Now for charging, you get 6 USB-A ports, 4 USB-C ports, and even a small little LED display that shows you how much power is being used. It can push at up to 140 watts total, but just keep in mind that only 2 USB-C ports are able to charge at up to 100 watts. Those will be the only ones that will charge your phones at their max speed. The other ports will charge your devices a lot more slowly, but steadily, and will get the job done eventually. I also recommend grabbing a few short 6-inch charging cables to keep everything super clean and organized. And honestly, I really found this charging station to be really great because it keeps your tech charged up, neatly organized, and all in one place, so you're not searching the house for a missing device. And speaking of charging, if you travel a lot, I highly recommend picking up this travel power strip for around 22 bucks. It's got this 4-foot extension cord that wraps neatly around the body, so when you're stuck in a hotel room with that one awkward outlet behind a heavy nightstand, you can just unwrap this, and the plug is flat and angled so it can squeeze into the tightest spots. And then from this tiny little block, you get 4 AC outlets, 2 USB-A ports, and 1 USB-C port that lets you charge up to 7 devices at once. It's pretty great. And it's so small too, it fits into any carry-on bag that you have, a backpack, purse, whatever. A total must-have for anyone who travels a lot with a lot of tech. One last charging option, check this 10-foot braided USB-C cable that goes for around $12. Now it looks like a nice fancy cable, and it is, but look at this. Both ends actually rotate a full 180 degrees, so you can plug this right into your phone and have the cable go in any direction, which means you're never really bending and straining the cable at the end. It keeps you from tearing it over time. Plus it's braided so it doesn't get all tangled up, and it just feels really durable. And on top of that, it can handle up to 240 watts, so you can even use it to fast charge your laptop. You know, I love a good movie night with friends and family, and lately, I've been totally obsessed with this projector, the Valerion VisionMaster Pro 2, which is actually sponsoring today's video. Let me tell you, this is not your average projector. Not only does it have a really beautiful looking design, but even the picture quality makes it feel like you've got a full-on movie theater right at home. And it works just as well outside. It gets super bright at up to 3000 ISO lumens, gives you 4K UHD resolution, so movies look very sharp and detailed, and the colors are super accurate too, with 110% Rec 2020 color gamut and a crazy 15,000 by 1 contrast ratio, so the dark scenes actually look pitch black. Plus, setting it up was really easy too. It has auto keystone correction, so the image aligns perfectly no matter where you point it at. It even has Google TV built right in, so I can easily fire up Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, whatever I want. No extra software is needed. And if I do want to plug something into the back, it's loaded with ports for my laptop, phone, or even tablet. It even has AirPlay too, so I could just wirelessly mirror my Apple devices. Oh, and the built-in speakers sound incredible. Check them out.
I have a phone. Yeah.
You see, it's pretty impressive. Way louder and clearer than I ever expected from a projector. And it's not just me hyping it up. Valerion was the #1 most funded crowdfunding project last year, raising over $10 million. So obviously, a lot of people were actually waiting for a projector that looks this beautiful and works this well. So if you've ever been let down by a weak projector, trust me, this is the one that you want to get. If you want to check it out, my link down below gets you 20% off and a free stand. It's a seriously awesome deal. Alright, moving on. If your laptop is running out of space and you don't really have the money to upgrade the storage, you should get this $16 sleeve called the Slipdrive. You just stick it to the back of your laptop lid with adhesive, slip in any SSD into the pocket, and connect the USB-C cable to your computer, and that's it. Boom! You basically just added instant extra storage whenever you need it. How clever is that? It even comes in a few colors too, so that it can match your laptop. And don't worry about the drive falling out. The pouch is nice and tight, so it holds everything securely. Even with me shaking it crazily, it only really slid a little bit, but didn't really fall out. Plus, they have different sizes too. A small one for SSDs, and a larger one if you need to carry an older hard drive. I got the small one if you're curious. It really thinks outside the box. And since we're already talking about laptops, I decided to go all out and literally turn my laptop into this massive workstation. I did it with this laptop extender from Kafea for $270. It basically attaches 2 extra 15.6-inch 1080p monitors to the sides of my 15-inch Dell laptop. They plug in through USB-C cables and instantly give me a triple screen setup. It's pretty crazy. Plus, on top of that, I can rotate the screens too to vertical, which sounds like a niche thing, but I found it to be really useful. Like when I'm editing a video, I'll have all my clips on the left vertical screen, or when I open Spotify, I can see more songs at once. Then I have my main timeline in the middle screen, and then my script or a browser on the rightmost screen. It's pretty great, and on top of that, the entire setup compresses flat enough to fit into any backpack, so traveling with it is not a problem. So yeah, for most people, this is overkill, but if you use your laptop as your main machine, this is a great way to improve your workflow at home. Next, I've been on the hunt for a great speaker that I can really sink my teeth into. Something loud, crisp, waterproof, with great battery life, and still compact enough to toss in a bag. And that's when I came across Sony's new ULT Field speakers, which pretty much checks all the boxes. I went all out and got their biggest model, the Field 5, in this nice off-white color. Now, it is a bit pricey at $330, but they have way more affordable options like the Field 1, which goes for under $100, and I have to say, I've been really loving this thing. It is easily one of the loudest and nicest sounding speakers I've ever heard for its size. It's got these cool lighting effects too, but you can just turn it off if they're just too much. Plus, since I listen to a lot of hip hop, my favorite feature is this ULT button on the top. You just press it and it just kicks the bass into overdrive for a much more deeper and richer sound. It's also fully waterproof with an IP67 rating, so I really have zero worries bringing it to the pool or the beach. The battery life is pretty solid too. I usually got around 12 to 15 hours of playback depending on how loud I would crank the music. The only small downside of the Field 5 is that since it's so big, it's also pretty heavy. Hauling it around is a bit of a workout, but thankfully it comes with a strap to make it easier. Next up, I've got the Fanttik A10 Apex, which sells for about $130. Yeah, it's on the pricey side, but hands down, this is the best 3-in-1 measuring tool that I've ever used and my favorite gadget on this entire list. First off, it's got a retractable tape that extends up to 9.8 feet and it locks automatically, so no more snapping back and hurting your fingers. It only retracts when you press the button or you push it back in. I also really like that the tip is magnetic, so you can hook it onto any metal surface and measure with just one hand. But here's where it gets really cool. It has a screen that shows you the precise length and angle of the tape too. You can even change the units, so you never have to squint and count those little lines again. Plus, the measuring doesn't just stop there. It also has a red laser for measuring long distances. Just point and shoot and it tells you exactly how far something is. It can even automatically calculate area and volume for you after you take the length, width, and height. It'll do all the math for you automatically. And as if that wasn't enough, it's got a green crossline laser that helps you align stuff perfectly, whether you're hanging up picture frames or shelves. Plus, it even lets you level things too by just placing it on the top of any item. And on top of that, everything you measure gets logged so you can look back at past readings and never forget how tall something is. So yeah, obviously there are much cheaper measuring options out there, but if you're willing to spend a bit more, this is hands down one of the best options that you can choose from. Anyway, if you want to watch the previous episodes of the Top Tech, tap on this playlist right here, or if you want to watch the best Android apps that you can download on your phone right now, tap on this playlist right here. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate it. Thumbs up if you enjoy this series, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Kapow!